Hello, I hope you are feeling fab today. So, if you're watching this video today, if you are a woman over 40, living abroad, or even thinking about it, here's the money truth that no one says. This word cheap. I am so tired of hearing it. It's like on all the TikToks, all the Instagrams, when people's actually trying to sell you on moving abroad, this word cheap. And the reason why I find it to be problematic is that cheap is actually subjective. It really is. Um, and sometimes we forget that lifestyle adds up really quickly, especially when you are in a foreign country. And financial peace is a part of well-being. And I'm just gonna let you know if you watch through, I'm not here to actually do a budgeting tutorial. I'm absolutely not. What I'm here to do is talk about the emotional reality. Like if your money feels shaky, guess what? You are probably going to be shaky. Your nervous system is going to be shaky, and you will never fully relax. And that's even if your life looks amazing on the outside. So, I'm Nicole. I'm an expat and well-being coach, and I'm going to share a couple of things that people don't talk about. So, living abroad can feel like the best version of your life. I've done it 11 years. Yes, it is. But if your life only feels comfortable in that country, and then you go home to the US, to Canada, to Europe, right? And everything else starts to feel expensive, stressful, or tight. Let me just draw you in. It means something is off. Because, and I know this from lived experience, okay? Another money truth that no one says is just because someone calls a country cheap doesn't mean that it's gonna feel cheap for you. Because remember, as a foreigner, you're going to want to do all the things. And why not? Why would you travel so far, so long, depending on where you're coming from, to then be counting pennies? I'm not for that. And I don't think that you should either. You want to take the weekend trips. You want to do, whatever theme or activity is there. And quite frankly, it adds up. It really does. You're exploring, you're meeting people, you're trying places, you're taking weekend trips, especially if you live in an area where, I mean, that's like most expats, right? Like we're moving around in different areas, you're hopping on a flight. It adds up. And that's not even about the country, it's just your living style. Some people move abroad, right? And they live super simply, right? See, some people want comfort, nice gyms, cute cafes, right? Weekend trips, quality food, skincare, furniture. And honestly, that's real because you've traveled so far from your home. So you're trying your best to make yourself cozy. If you're over 40 and you're rebuilding your life, you're not trying to struggle. Struggle is not sexy. Let's like not normalize struggle. So you can't build your plan off of what other people say. I know from my experience, I did live in Thailand. Like people would just be like, oh my gosh, you can get an apartment for $400 or $300. But you don't know what that $300 looks like. You don't know if that's something you would want to live like or live in, right? And you don't know other people's economic situation. So that is something to really think about. I mean, my experience in Thailand, for example, many people there were retired, okay? Or they had done military time. So they had like a certain check, or They were business owners. So everyone's situation is unique. And you should keep that in mind when you're listening to people on the internet so that you don't base your decisions off of that. And then now you're stuck, right? And another thing to remember, having lived abroad for 11 years, your style evolves the longer you are abroad. You are going to evolve. So sometimes you might think that you want to be a penny pincher, and then you're going to be like, nah, I want to have the Four Seasons experience, right? And sometimes that just happens as you mature, you start to do more personal growth, or you're just exposed to more things. So you have to remember, like sometimes in the beginning, you're in discovery mode. And then after you're in discovery mode, you're in like living and settling mode. And that might mean a different kind of income. It might mean a different kind of salary, a different kind of cash flow to have. So, yes, I'm always team enjoy yourself, always. But now you need to know what the version of your happy, right, actually costs. And trust me, I am still learning some of these lessons, right? Two, I'm speaking from lived experience while I'm still building. Okay. In a second, I'm going to tell you the 5 things I do now so money doesn't stay stressful in the background. You might want to take some notes. You might want to record it so that you can use these tips. And now I'm looking at my notes, okay? The first one is a comfortable number. And what I mean by a comfortable number is one thing that's helped me to get clear as I'm rebuilding my life is like, what do I need monthly to feel steady? Okay, what do I need monthly? And don't shame yourself. You don't got to tell me, you don't have to tell your friends, you keep it to yourself. What do you need to feel steady? Right? So not what sounds cute, not what you heard someone say, but what's going to feel calm and good for you. So that's number 1. Number 2, stability and not aesthetics. So it's not about what you're trying to look, what you're trying to perceive yourself to be, especially to your family and friends back home. But I'm trying to feel stable, right? I am stable, right? And when that's your goal, your decisions get cleaner. All right. So now you start thinking about like, oh, stability is what I need. And I know sometimes some of these words, they sometimes have like a negative connotation to them. But remember, you want your nervous system to feel calm and relaxed. And only you know what that is. Number 3, what is your future me filter? So what I mean by that, future me filter, I mean, before I spend, I ask, does this support the life I am building? Or is it just a quick hit? Because sometimes spending is alignment. So spending money for a coach that's going to help you to expand and help you in your journey because it's going to help you in the future, of course, spend on that. But maybe right now might not be the time for a new bag, let's just say, or some new shoes. Now, if you need the new bag and the new shoes, it's going to get you a job, then of course spend it. So, right, you will know best on when your spending is alignment and when your spending is avoidance. And I have a history of knowing my spending when it was avoidance. So I'm not here, I'm teaching and sharing from shared experiences, okay? 4th, weekly money check-in. Once a week, check what money came in, what went out, what's coming up, what needs adjusting. So money doesn't become this like scary thing. It becomes a tool. And it allows you to actually be creative because now you could think about, okay, if I'm living here, this is what I'm going to spend. This is what's going to come out. Maybe I'm going to do this so more can come in, whatever that may be, whatever that may mean. Number 5, income that travels. Living abroad has definitely taught me that I need income that works anywhere, not income that only feels okay in one country. I learned that from living in Thailand. And that is not specific to the whole country. It was my school that I worked in. Um, and maybe I have a private community and I can expand on that. But the whole point is that you want to make sure that you are good everywhere, right? And that's why I've gotten more intentional about my career trajectory, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do, and building things I actually believe in. And let me tell you something. I used to feel weird about wanting more money. Like it meant that I was being superficial, especially now, right? But now I've learned that you can still be soulful and still want structure and want ease, right? Poverty is not an aesthetic. And I know I'm being dramatic, but you get my point. Poverty is not an aesthetic. Struggle is not an aesthetic. Abundance is an aesthetic. Okay. Financial ease is an aesthetic. Um, so that's the balance that I pretty much care about. So I'm just gonna go over these really quickly. So the first one is knowing what your comfortable number is. That's what I did. How much money do I need to have so that I can feel comfortable being wherever I'm at? Number two, stability versus aesthetics. So I had opportunities to go to even other apartments, high rise, but that is not what I chose in this exact season. Three, future me filter. Asking myself, is it a quick hit or does this support what I'm building? Four, a weekly money check-in. What came in, went out. And that's really great to do, especially when you're in a place where what's been labeled cheap, because sometimes you'll see how quickly things can add up. I've been there, definitely been there. And then income that travels. So if you're someone that you're looking to rebuild your life and you're looking for a job, right, or you're working in another country, you want to make sure that your income is going to feel good when you go home, right? It's not going to be that you're stretching out your pennies. Okay. So I really just want you to know. So if you're 40 plus, what would financial peace change for your day to day? Like, what would feel lighter? And just remember, you don't have to be perfect with money to be powerful with money, but you do have to be willing to look at it. You have to be willing to also not just take advice from people online. I mean, even me, like I'm telling you to look at your own situation because money isn't just money, it is choices. And no one wants to be stuck in a country and then you can't leave. I've seen GoFundMe's, I've seen it. If you are 40 plus, come on, share in the comments. What would financial peace look like? I am so happy you're here. And I look forward to seeing you again, hearing from you on my next video. Take care.